Hey guys, my name's Richard Prynne and this is Diary of a Music Maker. I wanted to think today about a specific thing that I've heard so much in the kind of realms of online entrepreneurship and, being a creative person, professionally as well as not professionally. And that thing is, what would this look like if it were easy? And it's one of those things that I hear a lot and I kind of go, well, yeah, that makes sense. But then I get sucked in. If this, for example, I said to myself, I'm going to do this podcast called Diary of a Music Maker, which is where I just kind of talk at the camera about the process, record songs, just to be here and share my creative process, share my thoughts, so that you can kind of see behind the scenes of what it is to make music and creative stuff for a living. And at first I was like, yeah, I'm just going to do an audio podcast where I just talk into my phone. And that was awesome. And then I got FOMO. I was like, but wait a second, I can't miss out on YouTube. So then I started recording with my Canon and I was like, okay, I'm complicating it again. Okay, if this were easy, what would it look like? I go, okay, fine. I'll use my webcam and my Rode mic. It's all plugged into my computer. I just press record and done. That's great. This is easy. And then I start to sit there and go, I look at the external metrics and I go, oh, wait a second. I'm not getting many views. It's obviously not edited tightly enough. It's obviously not catchy enough. It's obviously not this. So I start to spend more time editing and I'm missing the point. And then I also get into this, there's me missing the point of what would this look like if it were easy. And then there's the other side of it where I go, well, I will just record podcasts as and when I can and I can schedule them. Great. So I start to do that. And I've been loading everything on Substack just because that's kind of a free podcast distribution. Great. If it was easy, that's what it would be. It's free. Great. And then I can just put it on YouTube. There is a way for Substack to automatically upload it onto YouTube, but for some reason it's been uploading it to someone else's account whenever I do it. So that's really annoying. I reconnected it still do it. So I've stopped and I'm having to upload it twice. It's not as easy now. And the other aspect is I go, okay, well, what about my blog? I've spent years, writing for my blog to get traffic. And obviously my website got absolutely tanked by the most recent Google updates, which is one of the reasons why I started exploring other things, which gets me onto the what would it look like if it were easy. So my mind has gone from a podcast that's just me recording and talking and publishing, not to get views, not to do this, but just for sharing purposes and for process purposes. And then all of a sudden I'm recording it, uploading it to Substack, uploading it to YouTube, writing a blog post, sharing that blog post on Medium, and then redirecting everything. And I'm just like, what am I doing? This isn't easy anymore. I'm overcomplicating it because of this secret belief that I have, and I think you have too, that things can't be easy if they're fun, and they can't be easy to be successful. So that kind of goes to, okay, well, what is success? How are you measuring success? And all too often, I've talked about this before, I end up measuring success by external metrics. And I'm going to be completely honest with you here. I spent years measuring my success on how many trailer placements I got and how much money I earned from trailer music. And I got to the point where I was landing placements all the time and I was doing really well. And I didn't feel like I was successful because I was measuring my success externally rather than internally. I wasn't sitting there going, am I enjoying this? Does this feel fun? Does this energize me? And I got to a point where it wasn't energizing me anymore. I was feeling stuck because I'd got to the goal I had set, the arbitrary external goal, and it didn't feel easy or fun anymore. Well, and I worry that with this stuff, I chase the external and forget the what would it look like if it were easy. So for me, I write music every day. If this documenting purpose thing is me doing it and it being easy, it would just be this. And I'd take this video and I'd plop onto YouTube. I mean, I have had a few of you comment saying, why don't you just do live stream? Because that's kind of the nature of my work, is that I kind of talk whilst I'm doing it and I don't really edit too much. And yeah, well, Rich, what's stopping you? Because I get too concerned with a couple of other things, these external metrics. I go, well, what's the point of doing this easy thing if it's not getting me something in return? And I go, wait, I'm missing the point again. It's not always about getting something in return. I'm doing this, and I talk about this all the time in my courses. Do it because you enjoy it and because it energizes you. I get really excited when I think about this stuff and when I do it. It's the same when I'm starting to write music. I get really excited. I get really pumped up. And it's the same when I'm doing these. And for a time, I did 3 of these a week. I would sit down before I did any music. I would sit down and just talk at the camera, upload it, and that was it. And I stopped. Not because I didn't enjoy doing it, but because I looked at it and thought, not getting any views, what's the point? I heard on a podcast recently that Marcus Brownlee, the MKBHD, big YouTuber, his first 100 videos, so that's basically 2 years of videos, were to under 100 subscribers. 2 years. Mate, I gave up in 2 months. So you go, okay, bearing in mind what would this look like if it was easy, it's just me doing this, me talking at the camera, and just releasing it to the world. Great. And how do I stop myself from being distracted by other things? And not just other things like shiny objects, like new projects, etc., but other things like being disheartened when I only get 150 views, which I definitely do if I spend time editing. And I sit there and I edit and nothing happens. I go, well, this sucks. I don't enjoy the editing process enough to warrant the kind of negative feedback I get from 150 views. Which, bear in mind, if 150 viewers stood out there watching me talk right now, I'd feel like I'd sold out to a stadium. So it's a really funny mindset. But so to stop myself getting distracted, you have to put in place something which I heard on a podcast, on the Smart Passive Income podcast today. The lady whose name I've forgotten, I wish I was given the names, but I'm not. She started NESS Labs, NESS Labs, about kind of applying things she learned as a neuroscientist to entrepreneurship. And it's about her book, which is like small experiments. So she's talking about like having a small experiment where you go, okay, I'm going to upload to, let's say, YouTube every day for however many months, 3 months, 6 months, 2 months, whatever it is. And that is your goal. But whilst you're doing it, you take stock of how you're feeling when you're doing it. Does it energize you? Does it excite you? Does it drain you? Does it tire you? Does it make you feel sad? Does it make you feel happy? You start thinking about how it energizes you or doesn't energize you and how it makes you feel. And then you all the while you just focus on this goal of, well, a month of daily uploads on YouTube, 2 months, whatever it is, and you get to the end of it, and at the end of it, you take more stock and you think, was this something that I would like to continue? Is this something that I would like to continue? And the thing I really liked about it, she always talks about it as like experiments. Just see it as an experiment, as a test. And you get to the end of it and you go, okay, I don't want to carry that on anymore. And the problem is I would always have this thing of like beating myself up for giving up. which in my head I've done so many times with many things, businesses, podcasts. I've still beat myself up for air quotes giving up the Trailing Music Composers podcast because it wasn't exciting me or energizing me anymore. And then when I look at that, I go, well, what is it that does energize me and excite me? And this stuff does, and writing music does. I'm not a massive fan of writing, but talking. Yes, I like talking. Even though it's kind of talking to a small little thing there and thing here. It excites me because the way I consume content is by listening. I listen to podcasts. That's my thing. If someone uploads a podcast, I go, yes, excited. My podcast's here. I can listen to it. I don't really read blogs. I don't actually, sorry YouTube, I don't really watch YouTube videos. Not for this type of thing, because most of the people who do this type of thing on YouTube, I then listen to. Okay, actually, I tell a lie. I will sometimes load the video on my phone and then just close YouTube and then just listen to it as if it's a podcast. So I do, but yeah. So what would this look like if it were easy? And the same thing goes to my music. What would writing music look like if it were easy? And I know exactly what it would look like. And if you go to yourself, well, I'm just going to go 6 months of regular YouTube videos, podcast videos, and making it easy so that I can just enjoy the process of creating, that seems like a manageable thing. Whether or not I can get past perceived failure by, I don't know, not enough views or somebody being mean to me, or mean about the work I do, whether I can get past that, I don't know. I'd like to think I can. I like to think that the last few years of my work have been some of the most in-depth, I don't want to say soul-searching, but in-depth finding of my truest joy in writing and creating. And it does come back to making music and talking about creativity, talking about stuff. It does keep coming back to those two, whether that's a podcast, or whether that's a video podcast, or whether that's just, I don't know, me talking to a friend. But as most musicians and composers specifically know, it's a lonely job, this. I mean, you can see the office is rammed, right? Yeah. So this is my chance to have a chat and feel connected. And I think that's one of the things behind it. If what I do were easy, I would write music and talk about it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I hope this can resonate with you, whether you're writing training music, whether you're, producing beats, whether you're making films, whatever it is you're doing, what would it look like if it were easy? And then address a goal that you can achieve, not an external goal, but doing that thing for a while. Because let's say it does do well, you're going to have to keep doing that thing. Because if it starts getting successful, you go, oh, I don't want to do this anymore, because it's not a thing that you want to do. So keep asking yourself, what were my energy levels like? How did I feel afterwards? Did I enjoy it? So hopefully this helped, and I will see you in the next one.